Just think, "Be still, and know that I am God. Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them." And these are just some of the many verses spoken by Jesus. He often spoke of the kingdom of heaven, claiming to be the exclusive path to salvation. However, the truth of what Jesus truly taught has been buried under centuries of misunderstanding. Strikingly, for over 2 millennia, key aspects of Jesus' teachings have remained hidden, gathering dust in forgotten manuscripts. Now, ancient wisdom and esoteric traditions may finally be ready to reveal to the world what has been ignored for so long. From sacred temples to enlightened wisdom, what did Jesus comprehend during those years? And how did these teachings shape the revolutionary Christ we honor today? When it comes to the path of spiritual awakening, few figures hold as much significance as Jesus of Nazareth. Going beyond traditional religious interpretations, Jesus was a spiritual master whose instructions contained profound esoteric wisdom, designed to guide humanity towards inner transformation and divine enlightenment. However, these profound teachings, though partially encoded within the canonical Gospels, have over time been either misunderstood, distorted, or altogether lost. His message was not merely about morality and faith, but about self-realization, inner divinity, and the path to Christ consciousness. So where does the truth lie? Jesus' esoteric teachings are rooted in a deep understanding of divine union, spiritual transformation, and inner awakening. These teachings were intended to transcend dogmas and religious rituals, focusing instead on individual spiritual realization. Jesus emphasized that the divine realm exists within the depths of human consciousness, awaiting its realization. His mission was to awaken this inner divinity in others. These esoteric teachings include the following key elements: Christ consciousness. This is a state of awakening to one's own divine nature, transcending individuality. Jesus embodied this Christ consciousness, urging everyone to follow his example. Christ consciousness is the realization that the individual soul is one with God, transcending the ego and material existence. In his deeper teachings, Jesus showed that every person possesses the potential to realize this same divine consciousness. Divine oneness. Oneness with God. One of the central tenets of Jesus' teaching is the idea of divine unity. The realization that humanity's separation from God is merely an illusion. Jesus presented himself as an example of this oneness, asserting that all humans are capable of achieving it. This teaching transcends a superficial understanding of religious salvation and invites believers to a direct personal experience of the divine, inner transformation and rebirth. Consider Jesus' words when he spoke of being born again of the Spirit. John chapter 3 verse 3. He was referring not to a physical act or ritual, but to a spiritual rebirth that occurs through enlightenment. This was a central theme of his esoteric teachings, a path of self-transcendence and spiritual evolution toward higher consciousness. The kingdom of heaven is a state of consciousness. Jesus often spoke of it, but his words were frequently misinterpreted. Instead of a future paradise after death, Jesus spoke of a state of consciousness that can be attained in this life. The kingdom of heaven is a state of enlightenment where one realizes their unity with the divine, a truth that transcends material limitations. Jesus' teachings extend far beyond what is written in the Bible. Gnostic texts and hidden gospels contain keys to understanding his deeper wisdom. Here are biblical verses that may have been misinterpreted from Jesus' teachings. You might know the verse, "I am the way and the truth and the life," John chapter 14 verse 6. It is often taken as a statement of Jesus' exclusivity regarding salvation. However, while it highlights Jesus as a teacher of truth, a deeper interpretation is that the way refers to an inner journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. Jesus represents a path of love, wisdom, and connection to the divine that is accessible to all, not solely through traditional religious structures. Recall another powerful verse. "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." John chapter 8 verse 7. This verse is understood as a condemnation of judgmental attitudes. However, beyond the obvious teaching of compassion, it also suggests that true understanding comes from acknowledging our own imperfections. Jesus emphasizes that judgment is rooted in a lack of self-awareness. It is a call to self-reflection and humility, urging individuals to look within themselves before criticizing others. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew chapter 26 verse 41. This saying, often interpreted as an acknowledgement of human weakness, actually touches upon the dichotomy between the higher self, spirit, and the ego, flesh. Jesus points to the need for spiritual vigilance and discipline. He encourages followers to develop a strong spiritual practice, to align their actions with higher intentions, thereby overcoming the limitations of the ego. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Matthew chapter 18 verse 20. Many see this as a promise of Jesus' presence during communal worship. While it does affirm community, it also emphasizes the power of shared intention and consciousness. When people gather together with a common purpose of love and awakening, they create a field of spiritual energy that facilitates deeper understanding and connection with the divine. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 5 verse 3. This is commonly interpreted as a blessing for the humble or for those who suffer from material poverty. The phrase poor in spirit refers to a state of openness and receptivity to divine guidance. It speaks to the idea of spiritual humility, where one recognizes their limitations and seeks divine connection. This teaching invites individuals to release egoic attachments and surrender to the higher will of the divine. Love your neighbor as yourself. Mark chapter 12 verse 31. This is not merely a call to perform good deeds in charity. The deeper meaning of this teaching lies in understanding self-love. To truly love others, one must first cultivate love and acceptance towards oneself. This teaching emphasizes the interconnectedness of humanity, showing that the degree to which one can love others is directly proportional to the love one holds for oneself. It invites self-reflection and the healing of one's own wounds in order to extend genuine love outward. Here are 10 untold teachings of Jesus. Have you ever considered that the kingdom of God is within you? Luke chapter 17 verse 21. This profound statement underscores the internal nature of divine reality. Jesus taught that spiritual enlightenment and communion with God are not found in external rituals or distant heavens, but within oneself. The kingdom refers to a state of consciousness characterized by love, peace, and unity with the divine. This inner kingdom is accessible through self-inquiry, meditation, and the recognition of one's inner divinity. To awaken this state, individuals need to engage in practices that quiet the mind and connect them with their true essence. You are the light of the world. Matthew chapter 5 verse 14. Here, Jesus empowers his followers, emphasizing that every individual carries a divine light within them. This teaching invites people to recognize their potential to illuminate the world with their unique gifts and insights. Light symbolizes wisdom, compassion, and truth. Jesus urges believers to manifest this light through their actions, thereby serving as beacons of hope and guidance in an often darkened world. This call to action encourages personal responsibility and the understanding that one's life can significantly impact others. Do not worry about your life. Matthew chapter 6 verse 25. In this teaching, Jesus addresses the pervasive human experience of anxiety, advocating for a state of trust and surrender to the divine. Anxiety stems from the ego's need for control and attachment to outcomes. By encouraging a focus on spiritual rather than material concerns, Jesus teaches that true security and contentment come from a relationship with the divine. He emphasizes that life is more than physical existence. It is an invitation to cultivate spiritual richness through faith and trust in God's providence. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Matthew chapter 5 verse 8. Purity of heart signifies a state of being that transcends ordinary moral virtue. It refers to a profound inner clarity and intention, unclouded by egoic desires or attachments. Jesus teaches that those who approach life with sincerity, compassion, and a genuine search for truth will experience direct communion with the divine. This verse points to the transformative power of inner purification, where one learns to align thoughts, feelings, and actions with higher spiritual principles, ultimately leading to profound spiritual insights and revelations. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do. John chapter 14 verse 12. This statement is a radical proclamation of human potential. Jesus implies that the capacity for miracles and divine acts is inherent in every person. By acknowledging that his followers will do even greater works, he invites them to embrace their divine nature and realize their ability to influence positive change in the world. This teaching emphasizes the importance of faith, intention, and alignment with divine principles, suggesting that acts of love and service can catalyze significant transformations in the world. Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother who sins against me? Up to 7 times, Jesus answered. I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Matthew chapter 18 verse 22. This teaching underscores the infinite nature of forgiveness. By offering a nearly unimaginable number, Jesus illustrates that forgiveness is not a finite action but a continuous practice. This principle is crucial for spiritual growth, as holding grievances and resentment hinders the flow of divine love. Forgiveness fosters healing not only for the one being forgiven, but also for the forgiver who is released from the burden of the past. This teaching invites individuals to cultivate compassion and understanding, leading to personal and communal healing. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm chapter 46 verse 10. While this verse is from the Psalms, it embodies a key teaching of Jesus, the importance of inner stillness and the awareness of divine presence. The act of being still refers to quieting the mind and releasing distractions that hinder deep spiritual connection. Jesus teaches that true knowledge of God arises not from intellectual understanding but from experiential realization. In stillness, individuals can encounter the divine within themselves, fostering a direct relationship with God that transcends words and concepts. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Matthew chapter 5 verse 5. This countercultural teaching emphasizes humility and gentleness as paths to true strength. In a world often driven by aggression and domination, Jesus turns conventional wisdom on its head. The meek refers to those who approach life with a spirit of humility, recognizing that strength lies not in coercion, but in kindness and compassion. This teaching invites individuals to embody these qualities, creating a world where peace and understanding prevail over conflict and competition. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm chapter 118 verse 22. Jesus uses this metaphor to signify the transformative power of embracing what society often ignores or rejects. The stone symbolizes the marginalized, the outcasts, and the misunderstood. This teaching encourages individuals to recognize the potential for greatness in places and people who might seem insignificant or unworthy. It reflects the principle that true value is often found in unexpected places, urging followers to open their hearts to the divine potential within all beings. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Matthew chapter 9 verse 37. This statement underscores the urgent need for compassionate action in the world. Jesus recognizes the abundance of spiritual opportunities to serve and uplift humanity, but points to a scarcity of individuals willing to engage in this work. This teaching calls for active participation in the divine mission of love, service, and healing, urging followers to embrace their roles as agents of change. It is a reminder that spiritual awakening is not only a personal journey, but one that requires collective effort and commitment to the common good. Are you ready to dive deeper into these transformative truths? Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Forbidden, Hidden, and Lost Bibles exploring hidden and lost texts related to Jesus offers rich insights into his teachings and the early Christian context. Many of these texts were excluded from the biblical canon, often due to their diverging views or theological implications. The Gospel of Thomas. This collection of 114 sayings attributed to Jesus is one of the most significant Gnostic texts. Unlike the narrative structure of the canonical Gospels, the Gospel of Thomas presents a series of teachings that emphasize direct knowledge, gnosis, of the divine. It contains many sayings that echo the canonical Gospels, but often with a more mystical interpretation. For example, the words, "The kingdom of God is within you, and it is outside of you," invite deep self-reflection on the nature of divinity. The Gospel of Thomas emphasizes individual spiritual experience and awakening, suggesting that the essence of Jesus' message lies in internal discovery rather than external adherence to doctrine. The Gospel of Mary. Attributed to Mary Magdalene, this text reveals her role as a prominent disciple and leader in the early Christian movement. Fragments of the Gospel of Mary discuss spiritual knowledge and the ascent of the soul. The text addresses the struggles of the disciples after Jesus' death and highlights the importance of inner vision and understanding. It illuminates Mary's insights into the nature of reality and the significance of overcoming ignorance and attachment. This gospel challenges traditional gender roles in early Christianity, showing that women played a vital role as spiritual leaders and transmitters of Jesus' teachings.